problem number 6 are screens. We talk about TV screens, computer screens, pads, all these different kind of pads, gimmicks which are around. All these screens have a clear negative effect on your body. I'm not sure that you have, if you wander around the streets at nighttime through your neighborhood and it's dark and people are watching TV, what do you see? You see a lot of blue light in those rooms. You don't know the TV is on, but the blue light tells you the TV is on. Because all these screens emit a very strong blue light. And this blue light can be a major problem for your sleep. Well, how does that work? We have a natural spectrum of light during the day. We should have. Our sun has a natural spectrum of light. Our sunlight is never the same. It changes. You see here the spectrum of colors of the sunlight. And in the morning, typically, the sunlight is red, right? At the evening, again, the sunlight is red. During the day, midday, the sunlight is between white and bluish, which is a normal pattern if you would only have it this 1-2 hours during midday. Most of us live anyway, what I call in the fridge. We live inside the house, we are very little outside, we are not enough in normal daylight. We spend too much time inside the house with artificial light. And the human being needs sunlight, and of which we have too little. All of us have basically too little. Let's say most of us have basically too little. You got to change your lifestyle. You got to be more out. And I'm not talking about sitting on the beach 5 hours in the bright day sunshine to get a tan. No, we're talking about a natural absorption of sunlight. To my opinion, no skin cancer is caused by the sun. Otherwise, everybody in Africa would have skin cancer. It's caused by other topics, which I don't go now. But that's what it is. We don't have enough day sunlight during the day. The best would be up in the morning, 8-9 o'clock when the sun goes up, and to catch half an hour sunlight with little, no, or very light clothing. Let the sun get to your body, and especially to your eyes, as the eyes create vitamin D. But what is the first thing we do when there's sunlight? We put sunglasses on, which block the sunlight and block the development or reduce the development of vitamin D. So the daylight is what it is. Now what happens now, and this is the important part now, the bottom line. When you sit in front of the computer, you have this blue-white light all the time. And this blue-white light symbolizes for the human body, for the brain, this is daylight. It's in the middle of the day, everything is good. You're at the computer at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at nighttime. The computer blue light screen still gives the signal, hey, it's daylight. You know, it's bright daylight. It's all good. And if you want to go to bed and sleep, you may experience problems sleeping because the body is conditioned. It's daylight. It's not nighttime. You didn't give the body the natural curve of morning light, midday light, and evening light. And now let's go to bed. You didn't do that. So the body is stimulated. It's daylight. I can't sleep. Why should I sleep? It's daylight. It's middle of the day. That's the tricky part about that blue light. Now, what's the solution? There are special glasses, reading glasses offered, which can handle that blue light. I couldn't live with them. I had a problem. They're just irritating, the colors when I worked on the computer and so on. And there's another solution that I have created with my products, which you saw before. I created in these products a technology to nullify that blue light. So that blue light has no more effect on your body. All you do is to take one of these 4 products. They're all the same, just cover different space and different areas, and put them in your room, in your house, and this blue light effect is nullified. That was a very charming, easy way to do it, and you can still look at the computer with your normal eyes or glasses and not having these color filters, which I couldn't live with. So that's a very easy solution. Though these products originally were designed to handle electromagnetic radiation, over the time I added features, like when you go on an airplane, the radiation in the airplane, and these different light fixtures and the negative effects on the body, which I added to the technology. Now, this was the last topic, number 6, screens. Now, these first 6 topics so far, you can more or less handle by yourself with very little investment. Whether you buy a product from my company or from somebody else, it doesn't matter if it works. And I never started a company to do a company. I started to develop technology to solve my problems in life. And it came out a company which I never expected a company to come out of this. Never ever in my lifetime. I didn't want this company. I did something else I was happy with. Thanks God I did it, but originally I didn't want the company. I just was trying to find solutions. I saw there were problems with electromagnetic radiation, cell phones, Wi-Fi. I saw there were problems with water, poor, bad water quality. And I saw there were problems with these light fixtures. So I put one and one together and said, so I must create a technology where people can still enjoy the technology of a computer, but not suffering harm, which the big industry doesn't give a damn about. There were always individual small companies like mine or others who came up with solutions as typically people like us working from an ethical point of view, not trying to make money first. We're trying to solve a problem. Well, if we solve the problem, we make some money, okay, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the motivation was not to make money. So these first 6 topics, you may have not realized so far, we have not even entered the bedroom yet. These are all problems which can give you a hard time to sleep at nighttime without even going to bed. Think about it for a second. They have nothing to do as such with going to bed. You haven't even opened yet your bedroom door. We're going to do this now. The next steps are in your bedroom. Paracelsus was the father of toxicology, a Swiss guy. And he said, a sick bed is the surest way to ruin your health. A sick bed is the surest way to ruin your health. Well, he said this early 16th century, 1500 and something. He said it at this time, and here we are 700 years later, 500 years later, whatever it is, 500 years later, and we still don't listen and don't understand. We ignore. We ignore life as it is. We ignore nature. We think we can do everything without listening to nature. We think we can finance every dirty trick in this world and every comfort, and nobody cares. We think we can do this. And some of you have followed me. They came across this sentence of mine, mankind is extinct, because they believed the laws of nature were not valid for them. Not everything we can technically do, we should do. The question is it to the benefit of this planet? And does it have negative consequences by using that product or that technology? And usually, typically, these questions are not asked because nobody cares. When the industry wants to make money and sell stuff, they don't care really. They go for it. And we go so far that we have forgotten to be reasonable. To my definition, it's not reasonable to be at nighttime in bed and writing emails on the computer, having that screen again. Not saying, well, let's call it a day. Or even I saw people sleeping with their cell phones right next to them in case there's a phone call or message. I don't want to miss it. Or they're like this lady here, the laptop being bright open and the light is in the room. If something comes up, that they immediately catch it. And I understand there may be once in 20 years a life-threatening situation where this may be an issue, but I can guarantee you, to the most part for all of us, that's not the case. We are just addicted to this technology. Good. Now that was the bedroom we're entering now. So once we enter the bedroom, we may develop and recognize that there are things which we have to look into. And the first thing when we enter the bedroom is problem number 7, which I call darkness. Problem number 7 I call darkness. Why do I call it darkness? Very simple. Because you should sleep in a complete dark black room with no lights whatsoever. In my house, every sleeping room is as dark as we can get it. Why? Well, we all have something which is called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland sits in the middle of the brain. Some people call it as well the third eye. And the pineal gland is responsible, among others, to develop melatonin. And melatonin is a sleep hormone which best develops in the dark. Why is that the case? Well, I'll tell you why this is the case. If you look at mankind's development over whatever number we say, let's say 10 million years, people were sleeping outside under some covers in a cave, in the open air, whatever. Not in a skyscraper, not in the 5th floor. And people were living with the day and night light. At nighttime, they went to rest, they went to sleep. They may have had an open fire at a later stage, a torch, something like a candle. That was the maximum. And then morning, sun comes up, they would wake up and get busy. So which means over these many hours at nighttime, everything was completely dark. And in this dark situation, the pineal gland creates more melatonin than in daylight. In fact, during the day, it doesn't create any melatonin at all. So this is why it's so essential that you have at nighttime in bed completely dark to give the pineal gland a chance to produce those sleep hormones, which finally create a big portion of your healthy sleep. So if you have sleep problems, you may consider to look around yourself in your sleeping room. What is my situation? Are there any light fixtures on? Is there light from the street lamps coming into my sleeping room, from the neighbor, from whatever, from a glass door? Darken it. Darken it, darken it, and watch yourself whether your sleep problems may improve. Maybe it's one of the problems. I don't know whether it's one of the problems. I only can tell you that in the old times, the Samira here, you see in his hands a pineal gland, which looks like a pineal because this is why it's called pineal gland. And in fact, the pineal gland was honored, was respected, was known to be very important. It was so much known that this statue, have a guess for a moment where this statue sits. Well, I tell you where it sits. It sits in the Vatican. It sits in the Vatican. Okay, it sits in the Vatican. And why is it like glorified? To me, it looks like it's glorified there. Well, because they know the importance of the pineal gland, because it's not only, that's important now, it's not only creating melatonin, it is distributing, organizing the flow of hormones in our body. And it kindly, like a conductor, regulates what's going on in our body, including our mental stability. Our mental stability is influenced by the pineal gland. And I know, which I taught in other lessons and other webinars, that the 4G, 5G we have around nowadays are attacking the pineal gland. What's interesting to know that the pineal gland of a baby is up to 10 times the size of us adults. Up to 10 times the size of an adult. And in these times of COVID-19, I think I learned that a lot of pregnant women didn't get any COVID. I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot give medical advice. I can only tell you from my observation and information. A pregnant woman has about 3 times the volume of melatonin in her body than a non-pregnant woman. So the melatonin volume in the body decides a lot on your health. So it's important that we support the melatonin in our body by having the room maximum dark. Now, if you have problems with sleeping and you find out that your room in which you are sleeping is not dark, 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 it may be one way for you to say, okay, let me improve my sleeping situation, let me change it, and let me get it dark. And then when you change things, we have 7 points so far, 7 problems, don't expect a change overnight to happen. It can. It can. With the topics, with the problems I give you in the second webinar, I can tell you that customers of mine have experienced changes within 2-3 days, dramatic changes. We're talking about this, the hardcore stuff, in the second webinar, part 2, about sleep problems. But if you make changes, any of these changes we just talked about so far, please consider to give it time for your body to adapt to the new situation. Even if the new situation is better, the body sometimes needs to adapt from a screwed up situation to a better situation. If you eat everyday McDonald's for 2 years and you change to true healthy food, don't expect that in the first 1 to 3 days you feel better. In fact, you may even feel worse. And people say, oh, I go back to the other one. I was better before. This is giving me problems. And I have a justification not to sit it out. adjustment even to the better may take time and may have at the moment reverse effects, like a drug addicted person. You have a drug addicted person, you take drugs away from the person goes bananas. The person has to go through the withdrawal, the body has to go through the adaptation to a better lifestyle. When I say people change water to best quality water, which I promote in different shows which you can see in webinars, water part 1, water part 2. These changes always have the consequence of detoxification. Whenever you do something good for your body, you improve, you will have an effect of detoxification. Because we have too much toxics in our body, all of us in this world. And once we improve a certain area, let's say food, let's say water, the body gets into a more stable situation, healthy situation, and addresses the problems. The body knows the problems. The body's trying to get rid of it, but it needs the tools, the support. So, and then comes maybe a period of adaptation, which in some cases it's a day or two and goes without further saying. In some cases may take a bit longer. You got to give it the time. Every body is different. People typically ask me, how long time will it take? I say, I don't know. You have two people with the exact same symptoms, and you give them the same protocol. One takes a week to fix it, one takes 3 months. Every person is different. Your lifestyle, what you eat and drink, your mindset, it's all different. So, when you have problems to sleep and it's not dark in your room, my suggestion, darken the room. Okay? That was problem number 7. And it doesn't cost you any money usually. It's a bit of shifting something around, whatever. Let's go to problem number 8. This is noise. Yes, it is noise. Problem number 8 is noise. Try to imagine your body wants to relax at nighttime, has to relax, has to rejuvenate, has to charge new energy, has to be calm, like a meditation, has to pull in energy, has to create energy, has to solve problems. What you have to do is not to bother your body and your mind as a spiritual being with noise. Noise interrupts, reduces, stops the ability of being relaxed. Listen carefully, because in many cases, people are used to a noise level which surrounds them and don't realize this anymore. I've been to places. I said, how can you sleep here with this noise going on? You don't hear the noise there? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm used to that. I don't hear this anymore. This is bull. Your mind, your spiritual being, hears the noise and it bothers it. Your spiritual being is bothered by noise. And today, when I did the German show, somebody said, yeah, what about the sound of the ocean, of the waves? Which sounds very romantic. We go on a vacation to the Bahamas, and we have a hotel room with a room right next to the ocean, and we hear the waves, and it sounds like charming, or this is paradise. This paradise sucks after 2 weeks. You can't hear it anymore, because suddenly you realize it's noise. It's just a noise level. Like somebody, you sleep and somebody next to you has a motorbike, and the motorbike is running the engine. It's noise, whether you think it's great and sexy or not. Your body needs a dark and quiet room to relax, and your mind needs to just fade out and relax. And you have to do everything possible to do that. I know in some cases it's different. You live next to a main traffic street, and all night the cars goes bang, 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 bang. Well, I don't know. If you have sleep problems, that may be the problem. And that may be the problem for you to say, I got to change the room. I got to go somewhere else. I got to change my location. I got to change and move the house. I don't know. Or take the bedroom and move it where the kitchen is now, and the kitchen becomes the bedroom. I don't know. Whatever it takes to get it done. Or move to another house, to another part of the city. If your health is important to you, that must be the priority. The priority is a healthy, mental, physical, healthy person. So, sometimes people don't even realize the noise level they live under. And you have to take care, and I experienced this. As a child, my parents, we were living in a house which was next to a train station where every night they organized the cars of the trains, and they had loudspeakers, and they were at nighttime shouting to these guys the instruction, this goes there, that goes there. That was going on the half of the night, every night. And as a child, I suffered enormously of that. My father suffered, but they didn't have the guts and the inspiration to say, we got to leave, we're not ruining our health. Yes, if you live under these conditions, sometimes I drive down the streets where they build new buildings right next to a main street. And I could not imagine in my lifetime to live in such a house. Because the cars were just like running through your bedroom. And the people rent the place because it seems to be cheaper than others. That's their justifications. What they don't know is they're going to ruin their health. So, bottom line is, if you have a situation where your room is not real quiet, and be critical, you should do something about it, as this can be one of the reasons you have problems to sleep at nighttime. Okay? Now, my dear friends, from the 14 possible causes which may cause you not to sleep well, I gave you 8 today, and this is where we take it home. And we have 6 more when I come back in 4 weeks. And these 6 will be more intense, pretty tough. And to my experience, there will be 1 reason, 2 reasons in the next 6 ones, which everybody has. Regardless your lifestyle, everybody has these same problems. These were my original findings, where I came across first. But then I looked around and said, well, but there are other problems as well. And you can talk about food, and you can talk about the light, and you can talk about the coffee. These are all, to my opinion, valid points. Very valid points. Which one is for you more valid than the other? You are the only person who can decide that and judge that. I cannot. I'll just offer you the selection, what I found. I'm happy if you have more points. Wait till next time, till you hear the other points. If then you still have other valid points, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for helping yourself, because you got to help yourself first. And then thank you very much for helping others. Remember to help others. We can only make it in this world if we stick together and we work together. Thanks a lot.